We are so baffled by how clever artificial intelligence is now. I mean, you can get onto ChatGPT and be quite astonished at how intelligent it seems to be. And as I said a minute ago, I mean, there are instances where it just makes things up. So is there, I mean, you're saying machines like rules, computers like rules, but do we need, I know this sounds a little sort of extreme, but do we need to teach it to acquire a conscience?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Because at the moment, AI isn't that intelligent. It's just a mirror. So it's just as smart as we are as human beings. And again, the amount of information or data that we put into it, that is what it can work with. So it's reflecting our own intelligence as a species. But when we reach true AI, that's when the machine can think for itself. That's the point where we should be concerned, because then it can make up its own rules. And when it can make up its own rules, we are stuffed. So we need to, before it can make up its own rules, we need to get to a point where we can develop, like you say, a conscience. I don't think it would work in the same way that our conscience works, because ours is imprinted on us by God. But we need to find a way of imprinting a set of conditions on AI, even when it broadens past the scope that we set for it.
So it's all about how it's programmed. Like it can be programmed to pursue good instead of evil. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and there's always a bias. We've seen, even, you mentioned ChatGPT as an example. There are a few of these language developed programs coming out at the moment, but we see within them there's massive bias. If you ask it to create something or write a poem or a document that is in favor of right-wing politicians or politics, it always struggles, but do it from the left and it can give you essays. So the programmers are clearly pushing a liberal, progressive, or what you might call woke agenda to these AI, and that's what's more dangerous, when we're imparting our own biases onto these programs.
You made a very good
against that too.
Well, indeed, you made a very good point a minute ago too, that artificial intelligence can only ever know what is already known. It can't create anything new, especially in the field of art. I think that's a really important distinction to make, don't you?
Absolutely, but the problem is we're playing God, aren't we? We are looking at creating new life, essentially. And once we've reached that point, what happens next? And we're going to look at a whole new Genesis situation where maybe we will set a rule and say, look, do not eat from the tree of the knowledge of truth of good and evil. And the AI might go and eat from that tree, and then we're all looking at a new original sin.
Indeed. Well, that's an interesting concept. Do you think the rise of artificial intelligence is somehow related to the increasing belief that humans don't have souls, to put it bluntly? I mean, we increasingly see the world through the lens of what some people call scientism, and that is the idea that science is the only form of valid knowledge, and transcendent thoughts about religion or art or God are actually meaningless. That is increasingly a common way of looking at the world. And it's not unrelated to artificial intelligence, is it, Calvin?
Yeah, no, not at all. And we have to remember that science isn't the opposite of faith or religion. And actually, a lot of modern science came from Christianity, because science is about exploring the world, right? It's about how the world works. Religion is about why rather than how. And the two do go together, hand in hand. And we need to understand the how, the why, the what. We need to understand all of it, actually, because we're curious beings. But where we go wrong, where we separate them, is our own, well, it's our own idolatry. Again, it comes back to wanting to make gods of ourselves. For example, the billionaires who don't want to die, they're afraid of death because they don't appreciate the everlasting life to come. So what they're looking for is a way to remain in this realm forever. And to some people, that might mean medical advancements. It might mean transhumanism, or it might mean trying to download our consciousness, download our memories onto a computer so that we can live forever in a virtual space. And then the question arises, so what happens to the soul? If the human being is downloaded, so to speak, onto a matrix, where is their soul? Has their soul passed on, or is their soul trapped in some kind of limbo? And that is a very concerning idea, that somehow we might be creating our own purgatory.